Hey guys, what is up? Welcome back to my channel. It is Daily and thank you so much for watching. Maybe I really need to do a new intro. I say the same thing every single time. Let me know down below if you think I should change this. Of course, before we jump in, don't forget to subscribe to my channel, hit that little notification bell, and of course thumbs up this video if you enjoy. Now, as you can see from the title of today's video, it's going to be my top 5 favorite foundations and top 5 favorite concealers. Now, this ranges from drugstore through to high end, and if you're somebody who watches a lot of my videos, you may have already seen some of these products in action. Base products are really, for me, like some of my absolute favorite products. Like when I see a new concealer or a new foundation or anything just base product related, that really kind of gets me excited more so than a lipstick or eyeshadow palette or something does. I am such a base girl. I just really love my base products. So I wanted to share with you guys what my favorite base products are. Now, of course, today is only foundations and concealers. If you guys would like to see my other top 5s, whether it's bronzers, primers, highlighters, blushes, you get the gist. Definitely let me know down below. I have actually changed my beauty room around a little bit. I know you guys can probably see the mirror here in the background. If you don't really like that, let me know. I can definitely change it. I've been playing around a little bit with things, a little bit with lighting, and just kind of trying to make this room work the best it can for me. So I'm gonna stop rambling. Let's jump straight in. I might start off with concealers and then we'll go through to foundations. Now, my first favorite drugstore concealer is by e.l.f. This is the e.l.f. HD concealer. This is in the shade Fair. So the reason why I like this so much is it's super full coverage, it's super long wearing, and it's a really nice formula. Unfortunately, e.l.f. has a really crappy shade range as far as these concealers go. I mean, this is the shade Fair, and you can see that it really blends in with my skin tone there. That's one of the things that I like about this product as well, is when I'm going for a look where I just want my concealer and my foundation to match, this is such a perfect product for that. Yeah, so I like it because it's super full coverage, it's long wearing, it's really is kind of like lifting. It's I think it's called the e.l.f. HD Lifting Concealer, and it's just been an absolute favorite of mine ever since I picked it up. Like I said, the shade range in this unfortunately is really crappy, but it's super affordable. I think I paid $8 Australian, so if you're someone in the US, it is going to be so much cheaper. Unfortunately, you only get a small amount. Now, the packaging on these barely tells you anything, so you know, I don't even know the grams. I'd have to look it up on the internet, but as opposed to one of the other concealers that I'm about to show you, this one does have a lot less product, but it is such a standout product for me. I really like it, and you'll probably hear me repeating myself a lot. I like what I like, so I like that full coverage. I like things that brighten the area or are super long lasting or don't crease underneath my eyes. So you probably will hear me repeat myself a little bit, but it's mostly the formulas of these products that I really enjoy, and yeah, for the price that I paid, this is actually really good. And like I said, the way that I like to use this is when I want my foundation to and my concealer to match. I don't really want a bright under eye. I like to go for this because it never lets me down. Now, my other affordable concealer that I absolutely love is by Colourpop. This is the No Filter Concealer. So I actually have had this for a little while, and I filmed a video on it ages ago, like months ago, and I only just got around to putting that up for you guys. Now, as you can see, this one here is in the shade Light 10, and it's next to the e.l.f. one there, and it is a lot lighter. I believe there is something like 30, maybe even more shades of the Colourpop No Filter Concealer. Now, this is marketed as a matte formula. I don't find it to be super matte because really, I don't actually like a super matte under eye. I don't want anything that's too dewy, but I don't want anything that's really matte either. So it is, when you look it up online, targeted as a matte concealer, but I don't find it to be matte. Once again, it's super long lasting. This one does oxidize, so you can see it has slightly changed color from when I first applied. But yeah, it's super long wearing. Once again, It doesn't really crease underneath the eye. It lasts all day long. And yeah, it's just another favorite of mine for an affordable concealer. I think I paid $6 for this, and I got it when Colourpop was doing a free worldwide shipping, no minimum spends. And you get a nice amount in here, 5 grams of product. So yeah, you get a really nice amount of product, and I like the wand on this as well. It holds a lot of product, so you can just keep going and going and going and going before you have to dip back in. Actually, that is one drawback of the e.l.f. I find once you dip it in, you kind of have to keep dipping to get more product. But with the Colourpop one dip into the product and you'll just get lots of swipes. Like I can pretty much do my whole face with one dip of the product, so a little goes such a long way. It's super affordable, and it has a lot of shades, so there really is something for everyone in the Colourpop range. So this is another one of my faves that I absolutely love. Now the rest of the products are high end, and I'm just going to talk about a concealer that I like to use for something different for a moment. So this is the Nars. This is the Soft Matte Complete Concealer, and this is a pot concealer. So this is what it looks like, and the product obviously comes in a pot like this. I like this product for a few different reasons. It is quite a multi-use product. I honestly don't really use this much underneath my eye. I do feel like it does crease a little underneath the eye, but I love it for so many other things. So I have really veiny eyelids, so if I'm doing like a really intense eyeshadow look, like on a day like today, I literally just have on a little bit of mascara, lip gloss, and that is it. So I haven't primed my eyes, but on days where I'm actually going to be wearing eyeshadow, I do like to prime my eyes. Just I think it makes an overall it just makes the eyeshadow look overall look more appealing, and I like to cancel out all that discoloration on my eyes and hide all the veins. So that's what I use this product here for. I also use it for spot concealing. This is super concentrated. I'll just get a little bit on the back of my hand here and show you guys. So that is the product just there. So yeah, it's super pigmented, which I really like, and it really kind of like smudges out, so a little bit of it goes such a long way. And it's really pigmented, so it's really great for spot concealing. If I make a mistake with my eyeshadow, or if I really want to kind of like carve out and kind of lift that area, I will go in with a small brush and use this product. If I ever kind of maybe overline my lips a little, or I want to kind of fix that area, I'll once again go in with a little brush and go underneath the lip area. If I want to carve out my eyebrows, I will go in with this product. So I just really use this quite a lot. I don't know if you guys can see, but I've used quite a bit of this, and a little of it goes such a long way. My other two favorite concealers, you guys are going to be surprised, Tarte Shape Tape is not in this video. I did really like it for such a long time, but I actually find that it's more of a drying formula. The more and more I try different things, I actually think that product is a little bit drying, and I feel like there is so many other concealers on the market that are just as full coverage, and this one here is one of my faves. So this is the Estee Lauder Double Wear Stay in Place Flawless Wear Concealer. So this is by Estee Lauder. I'm sure you guys are aware of their Double Wear foundation. It is super popular. So this is what the packaging looks like on this one. Once again, kind of like the Colourpop wand, this one picks up quite a lot of product, so you don't have to constantly dip in. And this one I have in the shade, this is 1W Light Warm. It's not the best color range as far as the concealers go, but you do have a decent color range. You definitely would be able to find something that's a pretty good match. And yeah, this is my go-to, like when I want full coverage, it never lets me down type of concealer. So yeah, beyond that full coverageness, it doesn't crease under the eye. It's super long wearing. It just sits really well under the eye area. It always looks smooth. Sometimes I put on particular concealers and I just think like the area looks funny. It looks kind of like crepey, where with this product it always looks super smooth, and it's got that super full coverage to it. So yeah, it's just my tried and true. I absolutely love this, and it doesn't feel dry underneath the eye. It's a creamy formula, but not so creamy that it's going to crease. It just has like this really kind of nice, just that perfect kind of consistency that you want underneath the eye. It's not dragging or kind of pulling when you're trying to blend it out, whether it's with a brush or with a sponge. And so yeah, it has been one of my go-to favorites for quite a long time now. I absolutely love this one. And the other one that I like to go to is by Laura Mercier. So this is the Flawless Fusion Ultra Long Wear Concealer by Laura Mercier. So this one here is in the shade 1N. I picked this up when I was in Hawaii. So that is the shade just on the very end, just there. Once again, I like this because it is super full coverage, not quite as full coverage as the Estee Lauder, but it is a very full coverage product. Once again, it's just sits really well underneath the eye. It's long wearing, it doesn't crease, and it's a formula that never lets me down. And yeah, I just really enjoy this concealer. I use it over and over again. So that is the rundown of my favorite concealers of all time. Let's move on now to foundations. So now this one here I have been using since I was about 17 probably, and I'm nearly 26 years old. This is by Loreal. This is the True Match foundation. So this is what the packaging looks like. This is in the shade 2N Vanilla, and I absolutely love this. I'll just do a little pump here. This one is a little bit more of a liquidy foundation. It's quite runny, but I absolutely love it. Like, it's just my tried and true. It's my go-to. I always can rely on this foundation no matter what I have on, whether it's an event, it's just a day-to-day. This is such a perfect foundation. You can build it up or you can sheer it out depending on what you'd like. Like I said, it is that more liquidy consistency, but it does have a really nice coverage to it. It just wears super well all day long. You'll probably notice a little bit of a theme here because I tend to like more dewier foundations. Anywhere from a satin to a dewy kind of look. I don't ever really go for matte foundations. I just find it to be, I don't know, I find satin and dewy foundations to be more youthful looking, so that is what I like to go for. And I don't have dry skin, I don't have oily skin, I have very normal skin, so I am lucky in that sense that a lot of products will work for me. But you won't find any matte foundations in this video because it's just not what I like. And yeah, so I had to give this one a shout out because I've been using it for years. There is a really amazing shade range in L'Oreal as well. There is something for everyone. I have recommended this foundation to so many people and I've never had anybody come to me and say, oh, I didn't like that. Everybody has really enjoyed it, that I've recommended it to, which is great to know. And it's just such a good foundation, super long wearing. It's just, yeah, great shade range and it never lets you down. It's such a nice formula. And I had to mention this one because out of everything, this is the one I've been using the longest and it's my tried and true. I can always rely on this foundation. Big shout out to L'Oreal. The True Match foundation is such an amazing formula, and yeah, I can't live without this one. Now, my other drugstore foundation is actually by L'Oreal as well. This is the L'Oreal Infallible Pro Glow foundation. Now this one is in the shade 202 and this one is in a squeezy tube. This one here, sorry, was in a pump and a glass bottle. I've traveled with this and never had any issues. I like this one as well because the packaging is like just this plastic kind of packaging. And once again, super easy to travel with. So I'll go over to this hand now for you guys. Now this formula is actually a lot thicker. I'm nearly out of this one actually. This one is thicker but still runny. It's not as runny as the True Match foundation. And I just absolutely love this foundation. It's one of the better matching foundations that I have. I find it really hard to get the perfect match. No matter who you are, it's really hard to get a foundation that perfectly matches you. With this one, I just absolutely love it. It really matches my skin tone really well in the shade 202. This is my go-to when I want a super glowy kind of makeup looking day. I actually think I done like a first impressions on this a long time ago, or it was a video where I was testing out new products, and at first I was kind of like, oh, I thought it'd be more glowy, and I wasn't overly like, because it was targeted as pro glow, I wasn't overly impressed at first because I was like, where's the dewiness? But as the day goes on, that dewiness really sets in and you get an even more glowier look. So yeah, that's what I love this foundation for. It is my go-to for when I want a super glowy look. I love to pair like a glowy moisturizer or something underneath as well to really kind of emphasize that glow. And it's just such a good product. Like, it's super long wearing. The coverage is there. It's another one of those products where you can sheer it out or you can build it up depending on what your preference is. and it just works well with everything. So it's one of my favorites. If you're looking for a super dewy foundation, that one is one of my favorites, and it's super affordable. Once again, it is L'Oreal. I've repurchased this one so many times. It's one of my favorite, more dewier foundations, so I definitely wanted to mention that for you guys. And it's, yeah, definitely not satin. It is dewy, and it's on that medium to kind of full coverage side of things. So that was my two, there's a bit of a theme here, 2 and 2. That was my 2 drugstore foundations, and now the rest are high-end. Now the most high-end foundation that I own is by Dior, and you guys have probably seen this so many times in my videos. This is the Dior Face and Body Backstage foundation. So this is more of a water-based foundation, and this one is super runny. Like, when you put it on your face, it will just start dripping down. Once again, this is another product that I like that really matches me really well. So this is a face and body foundation, so the coverage on this one is actually more light to medium. You can definitely build it up, and you can get some really good coverage with this. If you're somebody who has a lot of acne, this wouldn't be for you if you're wanting to really kind of hide that acne, because this is a more sheer kind of foundation. But the thing that I love about this, and you guys have probably heard me say this before if you've watched my videos, but this is the most skin-like looking foundation I've ever come across. Unfortunately, I mean, I love to wear makeup, but sometimes makeup can look great from afar and you kind of get up close and it's just like, it's obvious you're wearing makeup, and that's fine. Like, I don't care about that, but sometimes I just really want to look like I don't have anything done at all, even though I do. And that's what I love about this foundation, because it truly has that like skin appearance. I actually brought this when I was in Japan. So all the writing on it is in Japanese. And oh, I haven't even told you guys the amount. So this Pro Glow is the fluid ounce. The True Blend is your, oh, what does it say? I'm pretty sure it's your 1 fluid ounce as well. I'm pretty sure all of these are. So you're getting the standard amount for each size, but this one is a little more, I think, than your standard fluid ounce, because it is a face and body foundation. And you can use it on your body. I've never used it on my body, but I have seen other people use it on their body. But I don't know, that's not really my thing. I'm kind of just like a face girl. I don't really like do a lot to my body. Yeah, but it is just such an amazing foundation because it's super skin looking, and on the daily, that's kind of the look that I like to go for, especially when my skin is looking great. So at the moment, I'm pretty lucky. I've got 1 or 2 tiny little blemishes, but otherwise my skin is really even, barely any pimples. So when it's like that, I don't feel the need to wear like a super thick or full coverage foundation. I like to wear something that is a little bit more sheer, and maybe just have more of a like full coverage concealer underneath the eyes where I really kind of need the most coverage. And I just absolutely love this product for that. I cannot live without this one. Honestly, these two, if I only had to pick 2 foundations to use for the rest of my life, at the moment, it is these 2, unless something else better ever comes along. These are my 2 kind of true ride or die, could not live without. I love everything in this video, but those 2 foundations are my top favorite. And yeah, this one just deserves an honorable shout out. If you are somebody who likes a little bit more of a not so full coverage foundation, I highly recommend checking this out. Now, it is a squeezy tube, so just be mindful if you squeeze too much of it out, you can't put it back into the packaging. And it is quite runny, once again, of a formula. And it is a more satin formula as well, so very skin-like looking, but I'd say it's probably more satin as opposed to super dewy. Although if you don't set it down with a powder or you have a really glow base underneath it, it will make it even more dewy again. So yeah, this one deserves a big shout out for me because I constantly use it in my videos, and it is one of my favorite foundations of all time. The packaging is starting to get like really bunged up too. And I'm going to be needing a new one of this very soon, because I swear I only have like this much left. So I've had this since I think September of last year, and it is currently, what month are we in? May. So it's lasted a really long time as well for the amount of times I have used this product, because it is Dior, so it is expensive. So keep that in mind if you are checking this one out. So the next product that I want to talk about is by Makeup Forever, and this is a stick foundation. This is a Makeup Forever Ultra HD Invisible Cover Stick foundation. So I know a lot of people rave about the Hourglass. I've tried that one. I don't like it. I feel like the formula is a little bit too drying for me. So I have mine in the shade, this is in the shade Y245 or 120, and you get 12.5 grams in this. Now this one, it is a stick foundation, so naturally you get less product, but it's only because the product is really super concentrated. This is more of a satin finish as well, and super full coverage, so you can really build this up, or once again you can just do a little bit and sheer it out. When I have like a special event on, this is kind of like my go-to foundation. It looks amazing in photography. It's super full coverage, and I just absolutely love this. I've repurchased this around 3 times, and it is my favorite stick foundation. Once again, you can also kind of use this for like spot concealing, even though I always use like my Nars pot concealer. If I had this, because it is so concentrated, I can just get a little bit of this like onto a brush and like kind of put it over blemishes, really kind of just conceal those areas as well. So it is a little bit multi-use. A little of this goes such a long way as well because it is so pigmented. Generally with this, like I'm such a sponge girl through and through, but I find with this the best way to apply it is actually with a brush. You just get more coverage with the brush. I just like to use like a flat top kabuki or something like that to really kind of buff it into the skin. And I just really like this. It's got a beautiful satin finish. It's uber full coverage, and it just wears really well. It's super long lasting, and it's like nice lightweight formula on the face as well. It doesn't feel super heavy, which I really like. The older I get, I'm kind of like stepping away from anything that's like super thick, super heavy kind of feeling, or anything that kind of like really emphasizes the skin or makes the skin look dry. And this just like glides over the skin. It's super hydrating, and I just really like this, so I needed to mention it because it is definitely one of my favorites, and you probably have seen me use this a few times in my videos as well. Now my last foundation that has made it into the top 5 is actually a newer foundation. This is the new Beautyblender Bounce Foundation. So this is a liquid with long wear foundation. So mine is in the shade 1.60, and I'm sure you guys have seen this before. I absolutely love the packaging on this. It's super innovative. You've got your little on off kind of switch right here, and then you will just simply just press down on the button that's on the top here. Mine's locked. I'll just unlock it, and then the product will come out. So I just squeeze the tiniest amount out. I don't want to waste any, and I'll just show you guys here. So this one is a lot more full coverage and a bit of a thicker formula. I like this when I want something that's, once again, super full coverage, because this is such a full coverage formula. And the Beautyblender does just sit so well into this spot, and I love my Beautyblender. Maybe I'm a little bit of a sponge snob, but I've tried so many other like cheaper knockoff versions of Beautyblender sponges, and Beautyblender for me is my tried and true. I don't use anything else. I've never liked it, so I'm a big fan of Beautyblender. They were the original creators, and I feel like they've just knocked it out of the park. So yeah, the sponge fits perfectly in here, and I feel like it does really well with blending the product out as well. It's just such a good foundation. It just sits so nice on the skin. Once again, it's kind of more of a satin kind of foundation, I'd say. It's not overly dewy, but it's not matte either, so it's probably something more, a little bit more satin, probably with a slight amount of matte, but nothing too crazy, or otherwise I of course wouldn't be enjoying it. Yeah, I just really like it. It's super long wearing. I do have to be particular with the powder products that I do set it with, because if I'm not careful, it will emphasize lines, especially like around the smile area. But I have worked out what to use and what not to use with it to really kind of make it how I want it, and get the best results for me and what I'm after. But yeah, it definitely is a top 5 for me because it is super full coverage. But it can be sheared out. Any foundation can be sheared out though, but yeah, you can shear it out, but if you want that super full coverage, you can get it. So it's got a beautiful, long lasting, and it's just the way it sits on the skin for me is why it's in this video, because it just looks amazing on the skin. And yeah, you get that beautiful coverage, you can shear it out, build it up, and it just wears really well, and it's super long lasting. So yeah, that is it for me. That is a rundown of my top 5 favorite foundations and concealers for 2019. Some of these have been favorites of mine for years, especially with some of the L'Oreal products, and some stuff is a little bit newer, but yeah, overall these are just my top 5 cannot live without foundation and concealer products. So I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. If you, like I said before, if you do want to see any of the top 5s from me, please do let me know, and let me know what your top 5 favorites are. Like I said before, I love the base products. They are some of my most favorite products to try out, to test, to play with. So if you think there's something that I should try out, definitely let me know down below in the comments bar. Otherwise, thank you so much for watching. It means so much to me. Yeah, and I'm gonna see you guys in my next video. Bye.